Alright, what's up YouTube? Today I'll be showing you how to play the guitar solo from the song Chiron by All That Remains. I got some positive feedback on my cover that I did of that, and I'd be more than happy to break this down, maybe share some of my tricks on how I got up to speed, because it is a pretty tough solo. I will quickly run a clip of me playing it up to speed. So for anyone interested in watching that cover, I will link it right here, and I'll throw it in the description as well. So, on this album, All That Remains is in C# standard, which is 3 half steps down from standard tuning. I am actually locked into drop B through the Floyd Rose system, but for purposes of this solo, that will literally change 3 notes, which I'll make very clear what the proper fretting will be. So, just to quickly, if you want to match the notes, I'll start from the highest string, C#, then G#, then E, then B, then F#, and the lowest string will be C#, and I'll play the 2nd fret in this case because I'm down to B. So make sure you're nice and tuned up so these notes sound right. Alright, so before I break the solo down lick by lick, just some general tips. Rhythmically, it's actually a very simple solo because it's almost all 8th note triplets played at 240 beats per minute. So practicing to a metronome and getting it steadily faster is pretty simple because you don't really have to worry about complex rhythms. Theory-wise, if this were a standard tuned guitar, this would be an E harmonic minor. There's a couple chromatics in there, but generally speaking, if you're a theory person, that'll make a lot of this make a little more sense. The note choices and the arpeggios and so forth. But if you're tuned up, ready to go, let's do it. I broke it down into 11 licks, so I'll just do those one at a time, and hope you guys get a lot out of this, and hope it helps you play this solo more accurately, or maybe gives you some more insight into some of the techniques that Ollie Herbert uses. Alright, lick 1. It's going to sound like this. Might as well play it twice just in case one was sloppier. Okay, so what we have here is a series of triplets and then one really tricky quick run at the end here. So they're all inverted E minor triads with a weird note thrown in there. So fret-wise, the first pattern is 17 and 14 on the D string, 14 on the A string, and then a hammer-on between 14 and 17 and 14 again on the D string. So now we move up to the next arpeggio. Same pattern. The notes in this case being 16 and 12 on the G and 14 on the D. Last one. In this case, it'll be 17 and 12 on the B and 12 on the G, and then coming back up, it'll be 12, 13, 12 on the B. So those are all the triplets, and we have this tricky little sweep run at the end here. It's probably one of the trickier spots in the solo because it transitions to a weird lick. It kind of forces your hand to do some weird little acrobatics. And it should be noted that since these are 16ths, they're played faster, so it's a little bit quicker. The notes in this case, it's a downward sweep. Those notes being 15 on the G, 13 on the B, and 11 on the E, hammering onto 14 on the E. And that's just all downstrokes. And then the last 4 notes are a slide. And those notes being, so you slide the 14 up to 17. Then you play 16 on the B string, and you just downstroke again and hit 14, 17 on the E. Now I know that's kind of a lot to process, so here's what it's going to sound like. So again, 15, 13, 11, hammer on to 14, and then, alright, lick 2. To me, this is probably the trickiest lick in the whole solo because there's a weird combination of sweeping and alternate picking. So the whole lick is going to sound slower like this. What's especially tricky is, remember, we landed the last lick on 17. That was the last note. And what's tricky is this one starts on 19 on the E, so you have to get over there very quickly to do these arpeggios. So what the arpeggio is for the theory guys, second inversion E minor. Probably one you've heard if you've listened to any metal ever. The frets, 19 pull off to 15 on the E, 17 on the B, 16 on the G. And then you just go right back up. 2 triplets. And obviously, with this hand, sweeping, I start with a downstroke, I start with an upstroke, and then go downstroke. You probably heard arpeggios like that in every solo. It's those. So, the tricky part is here. You're at 15 on the E now. It switches to alternate picking. Again, to all triplets. So rhythmically simple, but switching from that downstroke back into alternate picking is a little tricky. So once you're at 15, the notes here on the B string, 19, 17, 16, 17, 19, and then up to 15 on the E. Putting it all together. And I would recommend watching, I have one camera, but I would recommend watching this hand. I'll do it slower again. So you see I exaggerate the transition between sweep and alternate picking. It's tricky. This is the one that probably took me the longest to get down of any of these notes. And the second half of this lick, very simple. Triplets down the scale. 19, 17, 15 on the E. 17, 15 to 19 on the B. And the last 2, 15 on the E to 19, 17 on the B. And, of course, 19, 17, 16 on the B. So, I'll do it nice and slow because I know me explaining fret numbers is not the most eloquent thing in the world. Whole lick. Lick 3, this will be everybody's favorite. We get to play a little bit of melody here. Stop with all the shredding for a minute. Sorry. What those notes are, I start on 17 on the B. The next 3 notes are 17, 19 on the B, and 15 on the E. And then the note that I hold and land on is 16 on the B. So, and the last notes are a full step bend from 17 on the E up to 19. And then 17, 15, 17. One more time. Alright, lick 4. We get a flurry of notes here. But remember, when I said this solo was all 8th note triplets, this solo is all 8th note triplets. So, rhythmically, you don't have to worry about much. It's just a lot of notes to remember. So, this big run, I broke it up into a few parts. So, this is lick 4 for purposes of this video. Playing slow is pretty tough. So, we start with actually a pretty basic run. We actually kind of had a similar run like this already. That run you should recognize because you've already played it. On the scale from 19 on the E down to 16 on the B. 19, 17, 15. 17, 15, 19. We're on the B now. 15, 19, 17. 19, 17, 16. Let's do those slowly. First one is, we're on the B, 13 and 17 on the B, hammer on a pull off. I think I fucked up a note there. Yeah. Next 3 are picked. We're on the G now, so 16, 17, 14. And the last 2 triplets. First one is pretty straightforward. 16, 14, 12 on the G. And then we have a little tricky string skip. I love when Ollie Herbert throws in these string skips because it totally throws you for a loop as a player. That's one that is probably tough to pick out by ear for a lot of people. 16 on the B. 16 on the D. And then 12 on the B. So watch out, this is a tricky string skip. This one you should take a little extra slow because a lot of these are pretty straightforward in the sense that they're just string to string. But once you get here, it's a little trickier. So again, this whole lick put together. I'm hammering on and pulling off most of the notes. That's all hammer on pull-offs. I tend to pick these. It's really up to you. Like, whatever sounds more like the solo. To me, I usually prefer a combination. I wouldn't want to go, that sounds a little sloppy to me, so I'm picking by the time I'm at the B string. But of course, here, it's a hammer on and then all picks. One more time. Let's do that again. Alright, so lick 5 is going to pretty much mirror lick 4. Similar pattern, different notes. Okay, so we're descending, starting at 14, 12, and 11 on the G. And we're going down the scale. 12, 11 to 14 on the D now. 11 on the G and 14, 12 on the D. And finishing up with 14, 12, and 10 on the D. That's the first half. You're going to recognize this next part because it's very similar. Just like we had up here. In this case, the notes are 9 and 13 on the A. Hammer on a pull-off. Last 3 triplets. The first one is 12, 14, and 10 on the A. Next one is 12, 10, 9 on the A. And to finish up, we have a pull-off from 10 to 9 on the D and landing on 12 on the A. So I know that was a lot. I'll do it very slowly. Same exact pattern as the last lick, just different notes. Lick 6. So the first half of this, some string skipping, but just alternate picked 8th note triplets. That one is 10 on the A, 9 on the G, so you skip a string, and then 10 on the D. And the next 3 notes are 12, 11, and 9 on the G. So next pattern, same pattern, different notes. In this case, it'll be 10 on the D, 12 to 9 on the G, and the last 3 notes are 12, 10, and 8 on the B. So the first half of this lick now sounds like this. And the second part of this lick is a couple sweep strokes combined with some legato, combined with a little bit of sliding. So that first part is 2 downstrokes, 11 to 8, 11 on the G and 8 on the B. And then you're going to hammer on and pull off 12. So 11, 8, 12, 8. And again, I'm doing 2 downstrokes, like a little mini sweep. The tricky part here is you have to slide up from 8 on the B to 12 on the B. For this next part, which is 12, 16, 12, down to 14 on the B. Sorry, 14 on the G. That's what it sounds like. And then you end with this note, which is 16 on the B, just bent up a half step to that, what would be an E note, but is actually a C sharp. So very slowly, that's the second half. Put this whole thing together. Lick 7 is without a doubt the coolest lick in this solo. This is where me being in drop B will come into play, but I'll be sure to point that out. Here's what it'll sound like. It's all triplets again. So, where it comes in is just these first 3 notes. For me to get the same sound, I have to play 12, 13, and 16 on the E. So for anybody watching who is in standard C sharp, it'll be 10, 11, and 14. And what it is I'll be playing it up here, but you have the fret numbers now. It's a slide and then a hammer on. So and the next part is a sweep. Just another 2-string sweep. The notes here, again, we're back to same notes as everybody. It's just those 3 notes. 12 on the A, 10 on the D, and 13 on the D. So all together it'll sound like this. So you have this kind of this 1-string pattern, and then a sweep. And we're going to carry that shape through what are, I think, flat 5s, yeah. So the next set is 11, 12, 15 on the A, and 13 on the D, 11 on the G, and 14 on the G. And the last set is 12, 13, 16 on the D, and then the sweep is 14 on the G, 13 on the B, and 16 on the B. And of course we end with where it has to resolve. So now for lick 8, we are definitely in the clear now in terms of very difficult stuff. But this second part of the solo is still cool, it's still very catchy, might even be the more fun part to play. So, lick 8. that first melody is all on the E string. 15, 17, 19 down to 14. And then is 14, 15, and 17 on the E. So then you have a bend from 15 up to 17. And you pull off 15 to 14. And I landed on the 17 on the B. And then a little run. There's kind of like a break here. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's the rhythm. It's like a weird like absence of a note. Da-da-da-da-da-da. So we're here. And what those notes are is 12 on the E, 15, 13, 12 on the B, and then 14, 12, 11 on the G. So the whole lick again. And that lick is just alternate picked. So if we're here, and make sure to make those notes sing. Lick 9 is this super catchy, bouncy melody. So fun to play. We're starting here at 9 on the G. And then it goes. So how I choose to play that is 10, 12 on the B and then 8 on the E. So, but you could definitely go 10, 12, 13 all on the B. For me, because of the next notes, the position makes more sense. So here the first ones are. Next three, 11, 9, and 8 on the G. And the last notes, 12, 14 on the G, 12, 14 on the G, 12, 13, 12 on the B. So, and then you hit 14 again on the G, and you slide down to 9 on the G. I definitely choose to pick it and slide it. Give it that really crazy sound. Alright, we're almost there. Home stretch. Lick 10, remember we're starting on this note. So we play here is. So, those first notes you hit 9 on the G, 11, bend up to 12, and back down. And make sure to let that first 11 sit a little longer. Then for me, I choose to slide up to 16 on the G. And then 2 bends in a row of 14 on the G. And when it comes down, you play 14, 12, 14, all pulls and hammer-ons. So it's 2 bends without picking the second one. Just bring it down and push it back up. So really the first time you pick is that last note. So you go. And the last notes here, 14 on the G, 12, 13 on the B, and then 17, 16 on the B. I definitely slide and really shake it. So, the whole lick. And of course, I didn't slide just because I'm trying to play this as neatly and as clearly as possible, but in reality, and then we're at our final lick. So lick 11, Very simple. A little bit faster than these last couple ones, but at this point we ain't scared of no triplets. Very straightforward shred lick. I think you've probably seen this before. So 14, 16, 17 on the D. 14, 16, 17 on the G. 14, 16, 17 on the G again. 16, 17, 19 on the B. So what we have so far is, and the last 6 notes are 16, 17, 19 on the B again, and 15, 17, 19 on the E, and then you hit that 19 again to ring it out. So all alternate picks, very smooth. We're done. There you have it. I really hope this helps some people who are working their way through these solos. Ollie Herbert is the man. It is so fun to study him because he really puts a lot of effort into composing solos as opposed to just ripping. And please, if this helps anybody do a cover, send them my way. I would love to see if this helps anybody with anything, then I guess it was worth something. As always, thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, shoot me a message so we can continue to talk music. And I'll see you guys soon. Happy shredding.